Good afternoon, and thank you for joining me on another episode of Ask Sharifah. Not only is this another episode, but this is the TGIF episode, and you already know what happens on TGIF episodes. That means I'm even more unfiltered, censored than I even before. I don't know what I'm going to say, but what I do know is you are going to enjoy this interview. So if you're coming into the chat room right now, I'm going to ask you to do what I always ask you to do, and that is go ahead and share this interview, because we're going to discuss some information you don't want to miss, and definitely not your friends. And you know what I always say, friends don't let friends miss out on Ask Sharifah. So I see people are joining us right now live. If you have any questions, if you have any comments, please be sure to go ahead and ask me your questions or comments, and I'll read them to today's guest. Okay, so now thank you for joining us. We have Diane. Hi, Diane. She said, hey, friend. She's joining us here. A couple more people are coming in. So today's guest is Tim and Maggie Lott. And Tim and Maggie Lott are going to tell us about their essay contest. Good afternoon to the Lotts. How are you?
Hey.
Fine.
I'm fine. But I saw the information on the essay contest, and, you know, I love it. I love to write. I just launched or released my second book, Signs You Might Be an Entrepreneur, How to Discover the Entrepreneur in You. And so I believe more people need to write. I remember being in school and doing essay contests and having a lot of fun. But to me, and you guys are the experts, so correct me if I'm wrong, you don't really see those anymore.
No, you really don't. I've looked at different websites and stuff, and they're really not as prevalent as it used to be.
Mm-hmm. Do you believe there's a reason for that?
I don't know. Honestly, I never really gave it much thought until we decided to do this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Education system, maybe it's moved away from it. Maybe there's better forms of self-expression or more culturally appropriate forms of self-expression where the essay was of that time period, and maybe we've moved past that. I don't know.
What do you think, Tim?
I think it's the education system. They're focusing too much on the computer end of things, and they're taking the basic school.
Mm-hmm. I definitely agree, because I noticed they took out the home economics. They took out a lot of the music. And so now there aren't even any essay contests. So with that said, what made you decide to start an essay contest?
Well, we've got a beautiful property here, and we had gone the traditional route to try to sell it, and we found it very invasive and very frustrating, both for the buyers and the sellers. I think what happened was we saw the type of buyers that we wanted, and they were the buyers that had the hardest time coming up with financing, things like that. Things stood in their way. They were looking for fresh starts and all of these things. So after 2 years of that and a couple of health issues, stress-related health issues related to trying to sell the property, I had seen this happen successfully, and we kicked it around over the winter and decided to go for it. The essay part, this type of lifestyle, a Victorian home, a farm, it takes a lot of heart, and it takes hard work. And it's not a Martha Stewart pretty, all dreamy, kind of existence. And so we wanted to hear people's hearts. And for that to happen, we wanted to see that interpreted in the essays. But with that being said, we're not the ones reading the essays.
We don't read any of them until it's all over with.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. We did have a comment from Diane in the chat room. She said, I'm 61 and I was never encouraged to put thoughts on paper. So she's supporting you and what you're doing. So go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think I'm trying to think, like Facebook is the new diary. Instagram, pictures are the diary. Where words used to be the diary, now it's photographs and Snapchats and hashtags. And so, yeah, the structure of the sentence has gone away, and it's just a new form of communication and diary giving.
You mentioned you don't look at or read any of the essays until it's all over. Tell us about your requirements, tell us about your process, and tell us a little bit more about your farmland essay contest.
Go ahead.
It's based on a 500 to 1,000 word essay, 5 paragraphs, traditional essay, grammar, the whole 9 yards, on how this property and this house would change your life. How would it affect your life going on from this point on? And you send $150 in the essay in. We have a courier that picks it up at the post office, takes the money to we have a realtor lawyer that puts all the money in an escrow account. It goes from the courier to the administrator, who takes all the names off it and assigns numbers to them, and then sends it off to 3 different judges. And they read the essays, and they pick the top 2 out of their groups, each one of them. Then at the end, they all get together and read all 6 of them and pick the winner.
Oh, wow. Is this the first essay contest?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, this is actually going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. If you are just now tuning in to Ask Sharifah, we are speaking with Tim and Maggie Lott about the Farmland Essay Contest. I want to go ahead and welcome Essie, Donnell, Linda, Kenny, James, Queenie, Xavier, Elizabeth, Lathrell. I can pronounce all these names. Anderson, I'm sorry. It's hard when you have a lot of friends and you don't actually get to speak their names. But I do want to thank you for tuning in. And we're discussing the Farmland Essay Contest. So if you have any questions or comments, please be sure to put them in the comments section and I will read them to our guests. So this is the first time that you're doing it. And when is the submissions? When is the open? When is the cutoff time for it?
Well, it opened February 1st, right? And it ends July 1st. So there's 3 months left to enter. And the grand prize is our home. And we have an 1870s Victorian home with an apartment, a 900 square foot apartment, mother-in-law apartment inside it in the upper levels. We have 5 organic acres here on the River Flat in upstate New York. And you get $10,000 along with that house as the grand prize. Second place gets $1,000. Third place gets $500. The property itself is valued at $140,000. And so you'll be getting the home, the property, clear deed, and $10,000 to start your life here.
Wow. So Diane wants to know, will there be other essays?
No. Well,
It depends if it works. We have a minimum that we have to get in order to make this work.
Okay.
If we don't receive the minimum, we send $125 of the people's money back to them. That covers our lawyers' fees and everything else. But hopefully we're going to knock it out of the ballpark and somebody's going to own it.
That's interesting. I've never seen anything like that. So tell us, who is your ideal essay writer? Is this something for elementary school children, high school children? I love to write. I just released my book. Can I go ahead and write an essay? Where is your house located?
Upstate New York in Corning, New York. Corning is the glass capital of the world. We are Corning Incorporated, Corning Glass Center, Corning Museum of Glass. If you've had Pyrex, Corelware, Corningware, anything like that in your life, it came from here. It came from here. Steuben glass is a hugely collectible thing.
Finger Lakes, we have Watkins Glen Racetrack, the wineries. There's so much right here in this area. Within an hour here, you can find pretty much anything you want to do.
Okay, so I just want to sometimes I repeat myself to make sure I'm clear, but what you're saying is a person could win your house, the deed, $10,000 by writing $10,000 by writing an essay
and entering a 5-paragraph essay
and
$150 entry fee. They follow the directions from the website. They send it in, and the judges read it. And winners are chosen on July 31st, which is my husband's birthday. And we will be live streaming. We will. Okay, so with that being said, even if you didn't want to live in upstate New York, this is a great investment property. You can run it as an investment property. You can run it as a bed and breakfast. It's got multiple zoned uses. It is, a mile away from town. It's 10 minutes from the local airport. It's so conveniently, there's a lot of benefits to here. And then we can move somewhere else and get more land and build little cabins and create a healing place and space out in the woods somewhere that, that for horseback riders and stuff that we're looking to do.
Okay, so I think I didn't even allow you to answer my question. So can anyone enter?
Okay, you have to be 18.
Yep.
Yeah.
And a U.S. citizen.
And a U.S. citizen.
However, we've had people call in and say, my 11-year-old daughter wants to write an essay. Let her write the essay. Put it in your name.
Mom and dad submit it. It
Mom
can
and
be
dad.
a family collaboration.
We've had one lady entered, what, 5 times?
5 times now. One woman has entered 5 times.
That was my next question, because I'm like, I could write a lot. I'll write a whole lot of different. Is there a specific genre? Like, I'm getting excited. I want this house.
Like, no. It can't be a poem. Right. It can't be a poem or anything. It's got to be a 5-paragraph essay, 500 to 1,000 words. First person, third person.
It's based
but
on.
It doesn't have to be about the house, or it doesn't have to be about people on Mars, or whatever it is. It's just whatever the person wants to write the essay on.
No, it has to be how this house, this property would answer your dreams.
Okay. See, I did hear that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to go over that again. So write the essay up to 5 times. If little Johnny, who's 10, wants to write it, they submit it as a family entry, and the parents can submit it. And it's about how your house can change their life.
Right.
I know how it would change my life, but I don't want to give anybody any ideas.
Exactly. Well, we've heard from people in the nursing industry, how a home like this could be, because it could be run as a family care home or a nursing home, end-of-life care home, bed and breakfast. It can be kennels, it can be a daycare, it can be organic gardens, it can be a petting zoo, it can be a church. These are all zoned approved uses.
Yeah.
A campground. We are registered with Hip Camp. A Hip Camp is like an Airbnb for campers. So the 5 acres can be utilized as Hip Camp. We are right now an active horse farm with chickens and horses and all of that. So we had.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, we had one entrance because we live stream with the people on the Facebook page once a week, and we answer their questions. And we had one woman ask us
about a camel.
Yeah, about a camel. Are camels allowed? And I'm like, dude, I got to check and see.
She has camels.
You have camels?
No, we don't. She does.
The
lady has camels?
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I already know. So I'm not going to say it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say it. But I'm gonna write my essay, and those people don't steal. Catherine, Linda, Eloise, people, Francis, who just came in, don't steal my idea. Okay, don't steal my idea. But you know what? When I'm listening to you, it's kind of something I always dreamed of. The bed and breakfast would be nice, but I always want to do like retreats. I don't know if you ever saw that movie Couples Retreat, but with Jason Bateman and Vince Vaughn. I love that movie. And I would do little retreats, where people could come and get away from the city and nature and all these different things. Like, I would just do retreats. Now I got to write my essay. Okay. But when I win, don't say it's because I had y'all on my show. Okay.
That's just it.
We won't ever know.
We don't know
until he opens it
until we open the envelope. We have no idea. When the administrator gets the essays, she takes all the names off it and puts a number on it. So the judges don't even know who wrote it. All they know is they got essay number 35. They got to read it, right down the line. The only one that knows the names is the administrator.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Now, let me see if you're going to answer this question. What's the administrator's name?
Can't tell you that. We told I tried. Ancient Chinese secret. Can't tell you that.
None of our family members can enter on either side, or any family members of the judges or the administrators. We tried to make it as fair and as equal across the board as we could for everyone. So no one could come back at the end and say, well, you favored this or you did that.
Right.
We didn't.
Right down to viewing the property. Even local people can't come see our property. They all have to see it through the live streams and the pictures and the interactions online.
They can drive by down the road. I can't stop them from doing that. But
if they knock on the door, they're disqualified.
Because because it's not fair to the people that live out of state that want to do it and they can't come see it. We go through the house and take pictures. We live stream. We've gone down the road. One lady wanted to know how far the elementary school was. So we went down the road and live streamed as we were driving down the road. You know, we walk around the farm. We show everybody things, the different things that are here.
This is really creative, but I just have to ask, mainly because it's Friday and I like to ask these questions on Friday. This is really creative. When you came up with it, both of you just agreed to this. No, neither one of you said, this is crazy.
Oh, we say it all the time.
We said it was crazy, but
we definitely agreed to it. Yeah,
we agreed to it because it's like this: it's either gonna work or it's not. Mm-hmm. And if it don't,
it's a nice life.
It doesn't.
It's a nice life. It's a beautiful home.
Yes, it would seem like it, but it just seems so creative. It seems just not like the typical thing you would do if you wanted to move or get rid of your house or whatever your motivation is to have a contest, number one, and to have an essay contest.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard because it's 18 years we've been here. This is the only home my daughter's ever known. And my son really too, because he was only 2 when we moved in here.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's going to be hard. I mean, we took it. It was pretty run down, and we brought it back to life.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Oh my God, I love it. If you are just now tuning in, we are talking about the Summerland Farm essay with Tim and Maggie Lott. Again, please go ahead and share this interview because we're just having some fun here. Okay, so Diane wants to know, is there a photo of the house on the website?
Oh, absolutely. There's photos on the website. You'll run right into it. It's my profile page on Facebook. It's the profile picture on, this is what it looked like. I'm going to see if I can show this to you. When we found it.
We can see it's beautiful.
You can see that all right? So yeah, if you look on the website, there's pictures.
They change all the time. And
all the time. All the time. I'm just looking to see if I can find something a little bit. And this is the color of it as we were working on it, started to paint it.
Okay.
So yeah, whatever she wants, she can find on there.
Diane says, wow.
The house itself's all been updated, all new windows, electric, heating, plumbing, flooring. I mean,
we're actually installing new flooring now because we've been wanting it for a while and it was on the to-do list for this year. So we're still doing it.
We're going to keep right on fixing it like we're still living here because if this doesn't work, we're still living here.
Yeah.
So
when you first moved in 18 years ago, did you think you were going to retire here, that you were going to spend the rest of your lives here?
I don't know that we ever considered it the forever house. We came back to be with family so my son could know family. And then we ended up having our daughter. And I don't know. I think we always had a thought that maybe we'd go back south again. We spent almost 8 years in North Carolina at one point. Mm-hmm. But we weren't farm people then. You know, it was just a big, beautiful house that we thought we'd never own. It was the dream house, you know. And so we've paycheck by paycheck. We've been mostly self-employed all of those years. We are entrepreneurs at heart, and we're always looking for the next thing to do and the next thing to grow ourselves and try to figure out how to get through this world. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know. I don't think it was ever in our hearts to stay here forever, but if we had to, it's a good place to finish it.
Where would you like to go now? Back to North Carolina?
If we get enough submissions to make it so we can move 24 animals and a full family again.
24
yeah, I think.
Animals. Okay, what kind of?
We've got 5 horses. We've got over a dozen and a half chickens. We've got
4 dogs. 3 dogs, 4 cats.
5.
A bird, a turtle, a lizard. And
5 adults.
5 adults.
Wow.
And that's right now before my daughter drags us back off to Tractor Supply to start raising chickens in her room.
Oh, wow.
She's laughing in the background.
This sounds like a reality show. Like, that's what I'm sitting here. I'm like, this is almost like a reality show. You have all
Dude, I have literally contacted HGTV. I'm like, you need to put us on. You need to come follow this. You need to come see what happens. You need to, see how this is going to work out for the people coming here.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these stories, I mean, I'm not reading the submissions, but we're talking to the people, and then we're getting submissions from people that won't, they're not going to enter because one woman's like, it's too late for my husband and I. He's got MS. I can't move him to upstate New York, but this is such an amazing thing that you're doing. We had one from a man who has been incarcerated for 25 years. Mm-hmm. And he goes, I want to enter this essay. I feel like this could be my freedom moving forward when I finally get out of prison and so on. I mean, he found it in prison.
Oh, wow.
And other people that just, one woman said, I can't enter because I was born under a dark moon and good things were never meant for me. And your heart just breaks. And I'm looking at my husband with tears going, I am so glad we are not the ones doing reading these.
Yes. Wow.
Because everybody would win.
I mean, it's, and the administrator, because she has to scan them before she sends them off. She's like, I can't wait for you guys to read these because we've asked for them all to be saved. Mm-hmm. And afterwards, we want to be able to sit down and go through them and maybe send off a letter, a thank you, or some flowers, or a gift card, or we wish everybody could win. Mm-hmm. We want everybody to win. Unfortunately, we only have one dream home to give.
For now, we never know. This might be 10, 12 houses later, this is the thing.
We actually thought about that. If we found a smaller house that we could fix for somebody with, an acre, 2 acres, in that kind of lifestyle, and do the same thing and make it more affordable for them, and maybe the tax burden wouldn't be so big or whatever. But if we could do this for people moving forward, what an amazing gift.
Yes.
An amazing gift to offer people a fresh start.
It is unheard of. Francis in the chat room says, you are amazing.
Well, we just want people to, I don't know.
We want more than what we have. We want more land. We want to be out in the country someplace, but it's a beautiful home.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I mean,
someone could really benefit from it that's young, starting up.
It's great for kids.
Hardship.
It's rural upstate New York. There's not a high crime rate. The schools are good. It's a pretty safe life this way, and I think people deserve more of that. And yes, I think the system is rigged. When it comes to real estate, and the real estate, the realtors are making their money and the banks are making 3 times what the property's worth by the time you get it paid off, and you're buckling under the mortgage and the car payments and the medical payments and everything else. So what if we were able to take away a $1,200 a month mortgage, mm-hmm. and give you a property that is income producing, rent out the apartment and get $650 a month, and move forward and enjoy life.
You've got 3 pastures. You could board horses. You've got a garage you can work out of. It was a 28 by 32 garage here on the property. There's a hay barn. All the tractor stays. There's an older case tractor.
Lawnmower
stays. All the appliances in the house stay.
Bring your beds. Lay your head down and start living your lives. Go weed your garden. Go grow some tomatoes. Go run your dogs down by the river. Just go breathe.
There's a river?
Oh, yeah. We live right near the mighty Chemung. It's called the Chemung River. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, wow. This is so beautiful. I love what you're doing. Now, you did mention that the judges are the ones who actually make the selections, but did you come up with the requirements as far as what you're looking for? Did you tell the judges you just whatever they like is wonderful?
Based on heart.
It's the contestant's dream now. It has nothing to do with what we want. Mm-hmm. So it's got to be their dream moving forward, not ours. Mm-hmm. So, and the judges are all not country people. They're not farm people. They have
one lives in North Carolina.
One lives in North Carolina.
And the other 2 live here locally.
Yep.
So, and they have no
affiliation with this
anything.
Property at all.
Okay. So you just said whatever your heart moves you,
yep.
Whatever moves your heart.
Yep.
So you have 3. So it obviously has to move all three judges in order for it to win.
Absolutely. So if they get to a point where they've got two essays that they just cannot choose from heart, then they have to go down to the technicalities of grammar, word count, punctuation, all of that. So the administrator just checks to make sure that the 5 paragraphs are there, and then she electronically sends it off to the judges. She never even meets the judges.
Okay.
And then they read, and if they love it, they keep it, and if they hate it, it goes in the, whatever. And then when they get down to the nitty gritty, if there's a tie, it comes down to the technicalities. So word count matters,
A couple words short or a couple words over is not going to disqualify it. But if it
But it
comes
might matter
down,
at the tie.
but if it comes down to the very end, that might be the tiebreaker.
Okay, so this sounds like a lawyer did, either you or both lawyers were lawyers in a past life, something like that, because you have every aspect of this to the T, the criteria, what has to happen. This was very well thought out.
It's got to be fair. It's got to be fair. And it had to be legal, of course, because of the gaming commissions of, New York State. You can't do a lottery in New York State as an individual entity. It had to be a contest
Or
of skill.
a sweepstake or anything like that.
It had to be a contest of skill. So it had to meet certain criteria in order for us to be able to do this.
How long did it take for you to come up with this?
We saw what I used as a template, we saw it a couple years ago. And then I just sort of followed the template for that contest, because not only was it successful once, it was successful twice, and it was an up in Maine. And they did it 22 years ago like this, before social media. So I want to know how they got it to go viral before social media, because I would really love to know that marketing secret.
Oh, that was during back then. That's what they did. They went door to door to door to door to door.
Well, that woman raised almost $1 million for her in. Let me tell you right now, she had over 7,500 entries.
And she read all the entries herself.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then the new owners back in 2015, they did it again.
Oh, wow.
So maybe they already had it,
A list to
a
go
list
by.
to go by or whatever, and they were given all of that information, but it was done successfully twice there. So I just used that as a template. We tweaked it. We put in our own information.
People ask questions and we figure it out and answer them.
We sat down with a banking professional. We sat down with a real estate attorney. We sat down with an accountant, and we just, because this is uncharted territory, really.
Mm-hmm. Did you sit down with a marketing person? Because you're getting the responses you're getting. What was your marketing strategy like? How did you get all the entries?
I wake up in the morning, I drink my coffee, and I start just slamming things. I don't know, whatever. One Google search leads to the next, one Google search leads to the next. And it just inspires me. But having been entrepreneurs for so long and run our own business, you've got to come up with ideas. You've got to think outside of the box. You've got to maximize, your time versus your reward.
Mm-hmm. And did I read, if I'm correct, did I read in your bio you homeschooled as well?
Yes, ma'am. I've got a homeschooled 15-year-old daughter.
Wow. So you're doing a lot. You have the farm, you're homeschooling, you're entrepreneurs, you have this essay contest going on. Woo, y'all making me tired, and it's Friday.
That's only the beginning.
We do live stream. We sell live stream online. We sell antique items and stuff live stream on Facebook. Vintage tabletop items like, hey, I got a cell phone from 1960, who wants to give me $5 for it? And we do that kind of thing once in a while.
You're a character.
House clean outs. Yeah, I go and I haul out houses, my daughter and I. It teaches her responsibility and hard work and entrepreneurship and skills. And I waitress a couple days a week, and he does full-time body work and on cars and stuff. And we just do what we got to do to pay the bills, like everybody else out there.
Yeah, but you seem like you're having so much fun paying the bills. Like,
Talk to me at the end of the day. Talk to me at the end of the day.
It's still early. It's still about noon.
No, you know what? It is. Life is fun. Sharifah, you're right. Life is fun. It's been kind of stressful over the past few years, and I'll give you a little bit of personal. This is Aries. This is our farm cat.
The farm cat.
And so in 3 years ago, March 10th, I was given the diagnosis of breast cancer.
Oh, wow.
And I had been an alternative girl since my son was born. At that time, he was 17. And there was no family history, and it came out of the blue. And my family was faced with a lot of decisions in a very short amount of time. It was a pretty big gut punch. And by the grace of God, and because I heard him whisper in my ear, and I followed that guidance, and using alternative methods and a little bit of surgery and going against the doctor's advice, I'm here healthy today. And but that definitely asks you to bring your life into focus a lot more than you thought you did.
Praise God.
Praise God, absolutely. And then last year, after one more failed attempt at selling this place with a developer, Tim had a mini stroke, ended up in the hospital.
Oh, wow.
And you know, when you're self-employed or whatever, and you don't have insurance, you got to go back to work. And so back to work within a week. And so we sort of took all the boxes because we were packed. Dude, we are still packed. I've got boxes all packed in a room in my house from last year that I refused to unpack. We are moving. Someone is going to own this property. All right. And so we sort of licked our wounds there and waited out over Christmas and did the old Lang Syne thing and decided we were going to go forward with this. And we just know that when we move forward and we create that new space and you know, like you said, you want to do retreats and stuff. We do too, but we want little individual cabins out in the woods where people, artists, people that need healing, writers or horseback riders can go and get away from what is now this world that we live in, which is overwhelming.
Peace and tranquility.
And you can't put a price on peace.
Oh, absolutely not.
You can't put a price on peace. You can't put a price on health and well-being. That's the true wealth in this world. And we are so lacking in that.
Yes. See, we're going to have to watch your show and tune into you, because not only do you come up with creative ideas, you are just, so your characters, like characters in a show, you have personalities. And I know, especially when you talk about being sick, that I see your smile and your energy, like you are just glowing. And I know there was no way in the world you were going to be kept down. So this is amazing. Now we are coming down to the end of the show. And so I want to make sure before we end the show that if anyone has any questions, anyone has any comments, Diane said very generous people. So thank you, James, for joining us. Jonathan, Christine, people are joining us in the chat room and really enjoying you together as a couple, as a team, and what you're doing. Not only the essay contest. I think you make the essay contest. If it was anybody else, it probably wouldn't work the same way or work as well. It's your energy that's amazing. And the love that you have for each other, I can just see it's just out of this world. And I say that because you answered a question that I didn't ask. Because I was being nosy sometimes, and sometimes I actually don't ask everything that's on my mind. And I was like, I wonder how long they've been married. And then you was like, and my son was 2, and my daughter, you know, I'm like, oh, it been 8 years before that. I was like, oh, they've been together for a long time.
30 years?
30 years.
25 married.
Yes, you can tell though, like you are just so in sync. It's just beautiful. You guys are really beautiful.
I'm going to remind you that next time.
Yes. Yeah, I know every day isn't peaches and cream, but I love your energy. I just wanted to make sure if anyone had any questions or comments that they can ask. But what I like to do I'm not even going to go there. I'm going to stop. I'm changing my whole act. I was about to end my show. Before we end the show, please tell us again the requirements for submitting, what they can do, what the essay should be, how they can submit, and give us that whole thing in a nutshell again.
Okay, so you'll click on the link for lamocaforever.wixsite.com/Summerland Farm Essay, and that will bring you to the essay homepage, the actual contest website. And on that, go under rules and regulations. You print that out and you follow that. You write a 5-paragraph essay telling the judges, not Tim and I, what this property would mean to you in your life. What dream would it answer? You send that in along with 2 self-addressed envelopes and your $150 entry fee. Those envelopes are for 2 things. One is to receive your acceptance letter, that we received it, so it did not get lost in the mail. And the other one is for if we need to return $125 of your entry fee if this contest does not reach the minimum, and we will return that. Send all that into the judges, let it go through the process. Join us live stream on the private page for the entrance.
Once you submit an entry, you will be notified of a private page.
Yep, for just the entrance.
For just the entrance.
That gives you an bigger inside look into our lives, more pointed questions. You know, we put up a bunch of teasers on the homepage, but that entrance page is where you're going to get to know us, and we're going to get to know you. And then on July 31st, you all join us on that page at 5 o'clock Eastern time, along with my local news stations, of which there are 4. And they will be here when we open that envelope on my husband's birthday, and we tell somebody that they're going to be living in upstate New York.
Well, that's wonderful. I can't wait till they say my name. That's just going to be so amazing. I just can't wait for that moment, July 31st. I got to be in New York. Let me add that to my calendar. But I can only enter 5 times, and I must.
Oh no, you can. No,
you can enter as many times as you want.
With each time with an original essay.
What was the 5 times? I got lost.
One woman has entered 5 times already.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can enter as many times as I want.
Yes, ma'am.
I like that. But the person has to be over 18 years old.
Yes, ma'am.
You submit it as a family with the parents submitting it.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. You don't even have to say it's a family effort. You can just submit it in an 18-year-old's name, in a parent's name.
And a U.S. citizen.
Yep. And a U.S.
We actually have a couple people from Canada that wanted to do it, but they said, and they're both U.S. citizens, but they live in Canada.
But they're U.S. citizens.
And I said, then you can do it. Just make sure you send U.S. currency.
Hey, you got to play by the rules. I love it.
Rules are the rules.
Hey, they're clear. They're defined. I think that's the most important thing. There are no surprises. There's no ambiguity. And I think that's the worst thing.
No fine print. No fine print. And there are no strings. With the in, up, and name, there were strings. They had to keep it certain colors and keep a certain name and keep it in for a year. There are no strings here. This is your home moving forward. You know, we're going to introduce people to the community. We're going to introduce you to our friends. We're going to make this as smooth a transition for your family as we possibly can.
Yes. The person should their journey should be filmed for like a year or something.
I know, right?
Once they move in, then 3 months later, and then how they turn out. I always think of
I'm sure we'll stop back and visit.
That is going to be wonderful. And then you can live stream it.
Yeah, yes. Absolutely.
That's going to be amazing. Now, what I like to do at the end of every show, I'm going to do a little bit different today, just because that's who I am. But I always ask my guests to speak directly to our viewers, speak directly to the audience, and let them know what you want them to take away from your interview. That's what I ask the guests. But for Tim and Maggie Lott, I'm going to ask if each of you do it individually, and just speak to the viewers and let them know what you want them to take away from your interview.
Take the opportunity to change your life.
Tim's a man of few words.
This could be a good change. It's a good life. It's a good area. It's not city life.
Believe in yourself.
But it's not country life. You're, like you say, we're only a mile out of town. But it's good life.
Okay.
Your turn.
My turn? Wow. I don't know. What do you...
You said believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself. I think that it comes down to a lot of that. Believe in yourself and reach for something. Never stop reaching. Never stop reaching. It could be a tough world, you know? And I think something I put up on my page yesterday, and I'll end it with that. Gratitude is the key that unlocks every door.
Yes.
Gratitude is the key. So I am grateful for absolutely everything. I'm grateful to Sharifah for this interview, for the people that joined. I'm grateful for the people that are taking a chance. Some of our contestants are just as excited for us as they are for themselves. Mm-hmm. And I think the world would be a better place if people were just a little bit kinder.
I love it. You know what we'll do is we'll bring you back maybe a week or so because I know it's going to be a lot, so I don't want to do it near the same time, but maybe a week or so after the essay, we'll bring you back so you can tell us what happened, because now I'm being intrigued for the next few months. Like, oh my God, did it work? What happened? Who won? What did they take my idea? That's what I want to know.
Well, now wait a second. If you enter, you'll be on the entrance page. You're going to be live streaming it anyway.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I have to send over all my essays and all my creative ideas. That's definitely what I want to do. But you guys are amazing. You are so wonderful. I thank you for being a guest on today's episode of Ask Sharifah.
Thank you, Sharifah.
Thank you.
You are so welcome. I'm grateful to have you here as my guest. And guess what? I'm grateful for everyone who has tuned in, everyone who asked questions, comments, Diane, Francis, everyone who joined us. I'm grateful for you. And to all our viewers who are watching this in an archive, I am grateful for you. And as always, I ask that you go ahead and share this interview, because friends don't let friends miss out on Ask Sharifah. And so if you're interested in watching more interviews, interested in sponsorship opportunities, or just being a guest, please visit the website at AskSharifah.com. Until then, everyone have a wonderful weekend.